This is the realest show out.
You did the opposite of what I think most people do. Sometimes it can be kind of scary to just put yourself out there.
That's real. That's raw. That's exactly what we're looking for.
We look forward to connecting with you guys on all of our social media platforms. The way to support us is to like and comment on all your favorite episodes. And please don't forget to subscribe and turn on your notifications for the next Gut Check Uncut. Okay, guys, Todd Stuff here, co-host of Gut Check. I got my partner, B. Bisk, in the house.
What's up?
What's happening, man? So listen, today we have an extraordinary guest. I mean, this guy had me on, one of his podcasts and his YouTube channels. And when I talk about, electric, he just spews fire. And it's not just a regular dude. I mean, he's been through so much in his life. Guy was born in Romania. He immigrated to Canada. He's the oldest of 9 children. His father was a pastor and mother was a restaurant owner. Played piano in church. Owns one of the largest private mortgage companies in Southwest Ontario. And he's the best-selling author of 2, I'm telling you, awesome books. One is Communism to Capitalism, and the other is Real Estate Secrets Exposed. I've read both the books. They are unbelievable. They are definitely a multitude of extraordinary development techniques for all of you guys. It's definitely a book you want to read 2 or 3 times. And he's the founder of Cash Flow Tribe. This guy's a great friend. We've been getting closer. We always hit each other up no matter where we're traveling. And we're just, we've got the luxury of having this guy on. So what do you think about him?
Dude, you're a badass. Every time I've talked to Todd and we're talking about things, you are like the model. You're the one that he keeps modeling everything
too.
after.
I mean, this guy, he went
God damn, you look good.
I know he just started flexing on people and getting in better shape. I don't know what's going on, dude, but it's not about this guy. You guys are gonna love this guy. So we're just gonna get right into it. So let's do Ben. We are so honored to have you, dude. I know you're busy as shit, and I think the name Ben Humble speaks for itself. Why don't you tell the listening group who you are and a little bit about yourself, please?
Hey guys, good to be here. Thanks for having me.
What's up,
By
brother?
the way, love the name Gut Check. It's freaking awesome, man. Really, really cool
Thank
stuff.
you, brother.
Guy, I'm just a humble servant of life, man. Grew up in humble beginnings, communism. We fled that on foot. We've been very fortunate. I believe that, God creates a path for people and it's your choice to go down it or not. So my entire life I've been looking for opportunities, and I've realized my superpower is to stay humble, ask for help, and push forward every day. We all have shitty days. We all have great days. I think your ability to identify your superpower is so key to your driving forward in that plan that God's got for your life. So for me, dude, I'm extremely thankful. I'm humble to have launched an amazing company here, serving Canadians all over the place, helping them get out of oppression, bullshit, helping them make money, helping them live the kind of lifestyle that I think every single person deserves to live. We just simply got to make a choice. So, man, I'm excited. Thanks for having me.
Well, I left out one of the most important and intriguing pieces that I think the listeners should definitely know. If you guys have not gone to his YouTube page, you need to. You've got 107 podcasts and uploads of some extraordinary guests of your own. And one of the things that's the coolest thing, it's very unique that you do, you create music and a music video for each guest. I mean, I tell you, I'd be lying to you if I told you I haven't listened to the song you made for me about 100 times. I think it's the coolest thing ever, bro. I mean, it may be a little ego.
You have no idea. You have no idea how many people he pulls into the office. They go, dude, check out this video. Check out this video,
Have
bro.
you ever had a music video made of you? Because I know a guy that can help you out. But, dude, how do you get that fire? I mean, honestly, before we get into what you want to talk about, I mean, you really take time in guaranteeing that the production of that video is on point. And the words, dude, they're so powerful. How do you get the strength and time to do that, man?
Listen, we all have gifts in life. I believe mine is to help and impact people. And I don't get it right every time, but I just try to make an effort every day. So for me, dude, it's about being extremely intentional on what you're trying to put together. I love music. I love impacting. I love playing music, rapping, connecting with people. For me, it's something that I'm so passionate about. So I'll go heavy, man. I'll go heavy in there. I'll create it. I also think it's something to be said about just being you. If somebody were to woo me, what would I want? I want somebody to write me a song, man. Write me a rap. Do something so different that nobody else can go, wow, I don't have that. That's dope, man. That's the ultimate FOMO. A dude wrote you a love song. Amazing, right? So I think when you have somebody of value, and we meet people of value every day in our lives, the question I always ask is, what am I doing? What am I doing to show that person my intention, to show that person that I care about them, that they are of value? And I think sometimes as small as writing a handwritten card or writing a guy a rap song, or just simply reaching out and dropping, hey, great job on social media, a couple hashtags, whatever. I think if we're intentional about dialogue and conversations and intentional about people in our lives, man, the abundance starts to flow. So I think you got to take time and cultivate relationships and bring your best to the table, bring your skills, bring your talents, whatever you're good at, bring it to the table and show people. I think showing off is obviously overrated a lot of times. I think just showing up is important. Hey man, I wrote this song for you. Here you go, boom. Now listen,
I love that.
I've had people when I send them a song and they get all creeped out. Shit, what's this guy writing me a song for? what's he trying to do with his song right here, man? He's trying to steal my audience. He's trying to do this and that. Listen, I'm just writing you a song because I think you're a good guy. And
That's
I love
cool,
writing
man.
music, and I want to share that with you. So for me, it's a way of sharing what I'm good at, sharing what I love to do. If I was a cook, I'd make you a meal. I just love playing music, and to me, that's how I show people, hey man, I see you, I respect you.
Love that.
That's
dude.
so cool, dude. So out of curiosity, because I know I've looked into you and I've watched your podcasts and all that kind of good stuff. You've seemed to kind of blend, you know, I know you're big into real estate and then you're big into music and now you're doing hold an amazing podcast. Again, it's kind of everything we try to model with that. You've kind of set the benchmark in our opinion. How, like, just out of curiosity, how did you come to get that reach in people? You have some incredible guests on your show. Like, what specifically along the way has allowed you to get that reach in people and your kind of network and how many people you have access to? How did you do that?
So gut check moment. I realized I played music on stage my whole life as a kid. I was going to be a musician until I got to about 20 years old. I'm in university for music and I realized, shit, I like to eat. And nobody was paying me. Nobody was paying me enough to play some music. So I said, I might as well go do something where I can eat. And I got into small business, started flipping houses, did the real estate thing. But I grew up on stages my whole life. And what I learned about being on stages, and this is where the gut check comes in, a lot of people in business will sell you stuff. A lot of people are on stages talking tactically at you. They're giving you transactional information. They're trying to give you all this stuff, but what they're not doing is reaching you. My pastor used to say that music has the ability to reach the corners of the soul where the spoken word cannot. So I realized something, that it's not just information that people need, they need inspiration. So if you can reach somebody through this level, it's deeper than the fundamental facts about real estate investing. I've used this same thinking in everything I do. In building my companies, I recognize that the people comes before the product. In speaking from stage, I realized that the message is only as valuable as how you feel about the message. And the facts don't matter if you do nothing with them. So I've been able to reach people because I'm just reaching out and saying, hey, there's a deeper connection here. There's something of greater value. That's where music to me is so powerful. Being able to connect people. See, a lot of people are good at building communities, but they fail to build community. How do you build community? In its core essence, it's fellowship. It's dialogue. How do you make somebody feel like they're in the room instead of just standing in the room? So that stuff to me is the unspoken, almost spiritual realm of business building, of human relational capital. That stuff to me is more vital than the fundamental facts. Is everybody will sell a book. Everybody will sell a course. Everybody will put on a show. But do you remember how you felt afterwards? And that to me has been with me since I was a kid. Like, I know if I can inspire you, number one, if I can inspire you, I have your attention. If I have your attention, I can help you. And if I can help you, there's probably a product, course, something somewhere, even if it's not mine, that somebody has that can give you the tactical how-tos. But you got to reach the soul, got to reach the heart before you reach the hands.
Dude, that's
the
so
way I
cool.
think about this. Yeah, man. I believe it goes, I heard this from Pete Vargas, and I've been saying it recently. Reach the heart, then you'll reach the head, then you'll reach the hands. And I think people are skipping the heart.
Yeah, dude, it's so cool. That resonates with me so strongly because, you know, one of the things that Todd and I do very well is we help sales teams grow. Is what we're really, really, really good at. And what we're doing currently is building a culture where we are that you know, we try to set the benchmark as far as culture. And in the sales industry specifically, it's so easy to end up catching yourself, and people that are sales agents in any industry, it doesn't matter, catching themselves as being looked at as just a number. Not everyone can do sales, so you have high turnovers and all these other things, and you have these massive companies that are bringing people in and bringing people in and bringing people in and not focusing on the people, the core thing that is the most important in an organization. And it seems like you're kind of doing that similar thing. Anyone can write a book or fucking flip a house or whatever, but as far as you building your brand and you're building your business, what it seems like is you care about the people and you care about impacting their individual lives. And I think that's what sets you apart versus the fucking 10,000 other assholes on Instagram that think they can, build a brand like you have.
Well, let me tell you what I think is the most important rule of sales. Everybody's got tactics and tricks, and skills are important, the process is important. I think the number one rule and the number one thing you need in sales is conviction. You either believe in this shit or you don't. You either believe in you or you don't. People are always looking for the scripts and the language, and all that stuff is there to be an aid. It's never going to replace somebody's conviction. Dude, this product, if I was in your shoes, I would be buying this product. I know it works. I've used it, and if I haven't used it, I should use it. And I'm selling it because it's going to make your life better. Until you transact with me and close this deal, your life is not moving forward.
Yeah, they got to hear it and believe it.
With that level of intention, bro, like, dude, sales isn't hard. I think just people don't recognize that we're talking to people, and we got to speak with a level of authority. And I don't mean false sense of authority because you read the manual, but a level of authority over your own life, which means you can speak with a level of authority over other people's lives. If you don't have you in control and you don't live in deep conviction, you already lost the game. Guys, that's just what I think. That's why I'm so big on conviction and so big on living this life of authenticity and being integral to who you are, because that's what matters. It's not just for sales, but in all life. So that's just something I picked up along the way in my development was, dude, I live with deep conviction. I have to.
Well,
That's sick.
No, you're right, man. It's funny because like you said, you have to believe in yourself. You have to believe in the product or the service that you're offering. It's most important. You're right. Sales isn't hard, right? And mainly with a guy like you, we always say put the people before the paycheck, right? Because it's the most important thing. The people have to know that they matter. Like you said, make them don't feel like they're just in the room, but they matter that they're in the room, right? But most importantly for us, it's through authenticity and honesty, right? Like my company makes sales great again. Yeah, political, fun name, whatever. It has nothing to do with politics, but it's the truth. There's so many people that are just lying out there. They're embellishing what a product or service can do. When you speak with that conviction, you live life with intention. Then selling your product, you don't have to.
You don't have to
sell
lie.
Itself.
Yeah.
People are going to want to do business with you because they know that you're real. They know that you're honest, which is a great segue into your topic. I remember us having a conversation, and I was texting you. I said, what do you want to talk about? I said, I want the raw. I want the real Ben Humble. I want you to let loose. I want you to just spit that fire, because the truth is, right now, there's not enough podcasts out there where people are giving people what they need to hear. You're a guy that always gives people what they need to hear, and your topic's great. It's identify. Your identity matters, and why pleasing people doesn't work. Dude, when you wrote that, I was like, this is the exact reason why we need to have this guy on the
100%.
podcast, because it's that message alone is intentional. So tell us why you chose that message, and let's dive into why that's important to you.
So I remember sitting in a room, guys, and it was full of 9,000 people. And I remember sitting there looking around, and there's people just yelling 10X, 10X, 10X. And literally remember my hands are sweaty. I'm looking around this room. I'm getting nervous. And I'm seeing all these people excitable, and these people running, and these people all like happy and all this stuff. And I look around and I had this thought, like, there's no way these people are 10X. Otherwise, they got to leave here and do 10 times the output. There's no way that I'm 10X. I'm freaking poser. I realized in that moment that I wasn't living a life that was core to who I was. I was living a life based on influence, other people's influence around me. So I leave this room and I made a decision that I'm going to reclaim my own identity. And on the outward appearance, that's the clothes and the hat and the things that you guys see. But inward, it was giving myself permission to be wrong, to be pure, to be broken, to be happy. It became and, not or. See, I could be growing and happy at the same time. I could be broken and find joy at the same time. I could be a musician and be a business owner at the same time. I gave myself permission. I also really understood the power of my core fundamental beliefs, my core values. What mattered to me? You know what didn't matter to me? Giving a shit about what people thought. I thought it mattered to me until I saw myself at 80 years old, sitting in a rocking chair, going back and forth. And I literally had this dream. I remember sitting there and I'm in this rocking chair and I had this question in myself very introspectively. And I'm saying, did I accomplish the things that I was meant to do on this earth? Or did I allow that one person or that one idea to hold me back my entire life? And what I came to realize is that so many of us are influenced, either positively or negatively. We make a choice to be influenced. So I chose to deepen my resolve with my core values. I know what matters to me. What matters to me is loving people. What matters to me is living a faith-driven life. And what matters to me is not being held back by your fucking bullshit. I don't care. You have a problem, it's a choice. You have an opportunity, it's a choice. You cry and be a victim, that's your choice. You want to win in life, that's also your choice. See, when you come from a communist place where you're told what to think, what to believe, how to behave, how to dress, sounds familiar? When to stay at home, when the curfew is. When you come from that environment, you're conditioned to think that that is the only environment that's available to you. And then as a young boy of 6 years old, I come to Canada and I land in this place called Toronto and I look around and people are doing what they want to do. They believe what they want to believe. They dress how they want to dress. And somewhere in my brain, I started questioning the things that I knew. And you know what? It took me years of trying to please people, even after I landed, you know, from as a young kid to being a teenager to being a young adult. It mattered to me what people thought of me. But you know what didn't matter to me? What I thought of myself. I was overweight. I wore clothes I didn't like. I said words I didn't like. I tried to behave a certain way I didn't like. And all that happened is I boxed myself into a version of who I thought I should be instead of allowing myself to be liberated by who I actually was.
Wow.
You see, I'm an aggressive, no patience, fucking maniac who wants to win and wants to help people. I will never put money before a person's heart and soul, but I will never sit back, accept mediocrity, accept excuses, and accept no's. Communism told me no. Fuck you, communism. I'm here to win. So am I a capitalist? Absolutely. Do I love people? Absolutely. Is there opportunity for everybody in North America to win? Absolutely. Listen, you wake up every day. If you're above ground and you have air in your lungs, you got a couple bucks in your pocket, you have choices. You have choices. So for me, that's what it was. It was recognizing I had my core values. I knew exactly who I was, and I simply gave myself permission to be that. Now, I'm not going to lie to you guys. It was hard. I probably went through about 6-7 months of identity crisis because my old reality and my new reality were having a clashing war. My old reality was trying to keep me where I was because you know what? I was comfortable. And I'm like, you know what? Comfortable is a good place to be, but fucking victorious, that's the place I want to live. I want to live in everything that's been destined for me, and I want to help a lot of other people see it. So it unleashed something in me, guys. Over the next 6 months, it unleashed something in me, and I would say that I reclaimed who I was, my identity. And that reclaiming of that identity, I think, has been the biggest catalyst for the last several years of growth in my head, in my wallet, in my marriage, in my relationships, in my health, because of that choice. And I think that that's a profound choice that everybody here has the distinction of making. But you got to realize it's a choice.
I mean, honestly, dude, it's like I'm getting the chills as you're speaking because it's true. I mean, we all have stories, and everybody's story is, you know, as equally as important as the rest. I say that all the time. You know, your story is different from mine. Brandon's story is different from yours, but we all have that choice. You're right. You know, and it's so easy to just not do the work, right? Brandon's favorite word is effort. I say it all the time, right? If people don't realize, they look at a guy like you, the Lamborghinis and the couple books and the great brand and the awesome real estate course and the assistance that you give people is tremendous. What a guy like you will never ever do, and I think I speak for Brandon and I both when I say this, is ever wake up one day when we're 80 plus years old and live with regret, because the regret, that's the biggest, I think, that's the biggest fear of my life. I literally do not want to wake up at 80 plus years of age and say that thing that you just said. Did I do everything that I wanted to do? Did I live the life I wanted to live? Did I make my father proud, as you know, is my best friend, my hero in heaven? Did I give my family and the people I love most the opportunity to win at high levels? And did I actually care? Because honestly, that's the difference between me. I mean, Brandon is to be honest with you, is probably one of the smartest guys I know. Okay, he's witty. He's a great business person. He helps people. He puts people first, like I do, and he cares probably more than any human being I've ever known. But what I'll tell you that I love, or where we have massive synergy, is the understanding that we're going to do everything we want to do. It's the choice we made. When we were launching this, it was a gut check for me to say, dude, why are you waiting? You have this massive network of people. You keep putting it off, and it was just like my father. My father, before he passed away, and I know you know my story well, he says, you got to write the book. You got to speak to people. You got to tell your story. And at that point, when I was in front of 4,000 people speaking on stage in Tampa, and Les Brown was the anchor speaker, and I'm on stage, I look into the crowd, and I just connect with one person. It's worth it. It's worth it when you impact one life. That was my passion. So I love what you're saying, man, because I want listeners to hear there will be zero regret when it's your time for God to take you into heaven to say, I did everything I was supposed to do. I know it's the same for Brandon. I know it's the same for me. We will not lay stagnant. We will not live in a life of mediocrity. And those words of passion, you literally live through intention, brother. And I love why. When you just did a huge tour of the U.S. and you were going all over different cities, I don't even know where you're at now. Where in the world is Ben Humble?
Yeah, man, I'm actually in Michigan now. We've toured Florida. We were in Mexico. We've toured Texas, spoke at some events. Let me touch on what you're saying, man. I think so many of us, we set the bar really high in expectations. We want to close every little thing around us. I think when you're so focused on closing, you fail to connect. I'll tell you what I mean by that. My old Ben, the guy who wore the freaking blazer and the realtor shoes, those floppy ass, stupid black, slip on realtor shoes that every freaking, and I'm not even a realtor. I was trying to fit the part, right?
Yeah.
I was so busy trying to close people on how good I was, how valuable I was. My self-esteem was so freaking low, man, that I couldn't walk into a room without trying to posture my way there. Right? Oh, yeah, I'm here. Here's my business card. You got a business card? You're a broken soul. You're telling me I'm not going to remember you good enough, well enough to ever want to talk to you again, so you got to give me a piece of paper with your name and number? Listen, if you're valuable and you connect, I'll find you. We live in a digital world. Why are you carrying business cards? People ask me, here was your business card. Listen, I don't have one. It's called life. If you like me, follow me, connect, reach me out. I'll reach you out. Boom. We get into this habits. For me, I was living in this fake identity, guys trying to always give up my business card. And what I realized from all that experience was when you focus on connecting and stop trying to close people on how awesome you are, people actually see you for who you are.
Yeah.
And that to me is life, man. We're so busy trying to go, look at me, Todd. I did some sales, Todd. I got a business, Todd. I got some followers, Todd. I'm valuable, Todd. My insecurities, Todd. This is how I fight my insecurities, Todd, is by showing you that I matter. And I think that there's a perfect creator who created us who goes, you already matter. Just connect, talk to people, have meaningful dialogue. My tendency is to show up here and try to sell myself. I'm the biggest, the baddest, the bravest. Guys, I'm just a broken soul trying to fix life every day. And I work with amazing people. And if I can pour an ounce of abundance into their life, it's meaningful. And then hopefully they'll be able to pour it into somebody else's life. That shit's more valuable than the money you're going to pay me. That's more valuable than the ego boost you're going to give me. See, that is a gut check. 100%,
dude. The ironic part is when you do what you're saying and when you truly care, not fucking faking caring, not pretending it, but really truly care, you go from, I just want to close and close and close because ultimately you want to be successful or get to whatever goal you're looking at personally or whatever. But when you truly care and stop being Mr. fucking closer, then you being different than everyone else is going to actually end up making you that successful person you wanted to be in the fucking first place. So that's the true irony in that is when you stop worrying about that, then it'll happen.
Yeah, let me just say this. That's the second half of the identity piece. When you become you and you reclaim who you are, people find you, man. You're the people who look at you and go, man, I love what this guy represents, because you know what? I get to anchor myself in who I am, and they want to anchor to me. They see me as a light in the world. They'll see you as a light in the world. And maybe for you, it's something else. But you becoming a light, guys like Todd go, I see you, man. I love what you represent. I love what you're doing. See, and they'll come to you. I think you're either chasing or you're attracting. And I realize life becomes better when you attract. Right? You called me to be on this podcast. I didn't call you. Yo, man, I need to be on a podcast this week. You get me on your show. I'm the best. I'm amazing. Todd goes, I know a guy and he's valuable. I'd love to hear from him. See, I love that, man. I love that connection because I did the same with you. I heard you were amazing. I looked you up. I saw what you represented, Todd. You're phenomenal. I need to hear your story. I have a podcast. Would you share it? Todd says, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's such a profound way to live, guys. It takes all the tension and the expectations off. Yeah, I don't give a shit if you like me. I don't care if one of your consumers of your podcast, this guy fucking swears too much. I don't like this kid. Whatever. His hat's sideways. His face is crooked. He raps a little off. It's okay, friend. I don't have to validate you. Somebody validated me. He's bigger than all of us. So I'm so thankful, Todd. It's the most liberating feeling, brother, because people will come in your life. And you're right. People will transact with you. People will do business with you. People will recognize you for you instead of your actions and the words you put out.
Yeah, man, it takes a strong person to recognize that, but it also takes, like you used the word influence earlier. Obviously there's good influence and bad influence in life. We know that, right? But what you represent, and I want to say this and I know that you're selective on who you have on your podcast, and I know how intentional you are about making sure that the people you bring on are sending the right message. That's literally not just what your core value speaks of. But the reason why Gut Check was created was for this. I mean, there's a lot of people that see you on stage, right? And we know this, right? There's people that get out there and they change who they are when they start speaking to people. You've never changed. And I know when we spoke on the podcast, when I was on your show, that was one of the big connections, I think, between you and I. We don't change who we are. Brandon doesn't change who we are. You're either going to like us or you're not. And it's okay. Like you said it's okay, friend. I want listeners to understand you don't need to become someone you're not while you're trying to ascend. What you need to do is be confident in who you are, and that alone will allow you to rise at levels that people think are unreachable. That's what you've mastered. That's what the people that are on this show have mastered. But we also want people to understand that it wasn't easy, and I appreciate you saying that because it's never easy. One of our last guests was talking about, dude, people never see the hard that you fight through. They don't know what you've gone through. I can't personally say that I've lived in a communistic country where they're telling you how to dress, how to act, what to do. I've never lived that. But understanding how it influenced your life and enforced you to become who you are, man, you took all the bad that you've gone through in your life and you transformed it into some amazing tools for other people to succeed, because I know in your heart and your soul that you love watching people win. And you do it by giving the right information. So when it comes to money and earning, yes, you can help more people with money than you can't. Okay, we all want to make money, we all want to be rich, but you got to be rich in love and life first.
It's profound, man. That's profound. I would add to that component, because I agree with what you're saying. We don't have to see somebody else's experiences to understand that they've gone through them. We don't have to necessarily understand everybody out there. We just need to recognize. People just want to know that they matter, dude. And when you treat people as if they matter, regardless of experience, pedigree, upbringing, just, hey, you matter. You're valuable. You're valuable the way you are. That's it. Oh, but I can improve. It's not and or. It's and, man. Yeah. It's and. You're valuable and you can improve. You want to make money and you can be a nice guy. I think we put too much context on the prerequisite. People go, and this happens in real estate. Hey, Ben, I got to go buy a property so I can go ahead and save up enough money so I can go buy a multifamily building. My friend, and you don't need to do any of this to buy a multifamily building. You could do this and buy multifamily or just buy multifamily. You don't have to create a thing to get to the goal. Just go for the goal. And I think for us as identity people, we go, well, Ben, I have to look the part so I can get the part. No, you don't. Just get the damn part. Just be you. Go get the part. Because if you're right for the part, if you're right for the part, you'll get it anyways. You show up with fake clothes. You show up with fake demeanor. You show up with fake intentions. You show up with fake insecurities or whatever. You're going to be exposed anyways. I call this the middle manager effect, right? You get the guy at the bottom who's maybe, grinding, trying to make it work. Maybe he's a new sales guy. He's relatively polite, whatever. As soon as that guy makes a few bucks, a little bit nicer car, a little bit nicer house, he's a middle manager, right? Fuck that guy. He becomes a dick. Oh yeah, I got a car like this. I got my house has an extra addition. I got a bedroom in the back. I got this thing over here. I got a boat. I got this thing. See, the wealthiest people I know, they don't care because they've ascended beyond that middle manager mindset because it's just stuff. You can always buy it or not whatever. But when people tether, and this is where I'm going to touch with this, people tether their identity to something. When you become middle manager, career guy or girl, and you tether your identity to stuff, something happens with that stuff and you go bankrupt, you become demoralized. You become broken because you've tethered your identity to your belongings. Other people tether it to relationships. My kids are everything. I live for my kids. You can't fucking live for your kids. You can't. Because if they die, what happens to you? Do you die? Oh, I'm tethered to my career and my advancement. And when you don't get the advancement or the promotion, what happens to you? Do you die? I'm tethered to my money. When you lose money, do you die? Well, you tether your identity to, you got to make a distinction. But if it's things that are material of this world, you have to recognize that when those break, you break. Oh shit, COVID's here. Yeah, shit happens. Pandemics happen. Well, but it's never been like this. Y2K, 9/11, SARS. Every 3 years there's a thing. Guy, there'll be another thing in 3 years because that's the thing. Randomness happens. Earthquakes happen. Shit happens. For you to lose your life and go, it's the end of the world until next year when it's another thing. Until next year when it's another thing. You got to realize you're living in a cycle of fear. And the only way to break that is to remove your tether. You're tethered to anchor to ABC News. Dude, that's a shitty life. Think about it. You're tethered to the news. You're having up and down days. Your blood pressure skyrocketing because of news events. I just think it's really valuable. Go ahead, man.
No. It's funny you said the news, and I'm going to turn over to Brandon in a minute because you reminded me of something that he's the best at. But we talk about news, and I kind of wanted to tie into that a little bit. I never watch the news.
Me neither.
I don't watch the news. I try not to watch television in general, but I don't watch the news at all because it's politics, news, all that stuff. It's planted for ratings and it guides people in directions. It changes your mindset. It's all negative bullshit that people don't need to hear about. And different news stations do different things to make people feel different ways, right? That's the clash of the titans. So I don't watch news. And for anybody watching or listening to this, I'm not telling you not to watch TV. I'm not telling you not to watch the news. Do what you're passionate about, right? But I personally don't because I think it spews negativity into the lives of many. And one bad piece of news content can change the way of thinking. I've said it a million times. I've said it on stage. It's crazy how our life can be moving full speed ahead, right? Everything's going good. We all know that when things are going good, brother, they're going good. And then one tiny little thing happens in your life and you forget about all the good shit in your life. You forget about all the stuff that you should be having massive gratitude about and living by that on a daily basis. And I want to tie it into Brandon real quick because you said I don't like not to be tethered to things. There are certain things that you're connected to, whatever your passion is, right? One thing, and I want Brandon to speak on this a little bit about it because I know you don't know Brandon that well, but his passion is the people, right? When Brandon, any organization that Brandon, well, I would say that the organization has had the luxury of having Brandon in, He cares so much about the people. He looks at their paychecks first. He wants to make sure that they're happy, wants to make sure that he's there personally for them, professionally, on all levels. I just wanted you, and I know that we got Ben here, but I wanted Ben to hear why that's important to you. Because, dude, you're the best.
Yeah, well, and I don't even really, it's just kind of part of who I am. And it really goes into everything you're saying, Ben, about caring for the people and everything. I've worked in sales for the last decade, and sales can be, pretty damn cutthroat. And I've been in timeshare and car sales and insurance. I've done all those types of really, really tough things that the organization and the business models tend to lend themselves well to forcing people to have a lack of that connection because of such high turnover, and certain people can do it and certain people can't. But the one thing, people have asked me, I've been blessed enough to be pretty successful in sales in any industry that I've been in, and people of new salespeople, whether it's one industry or another, have asked me, what's kind of sets you apart. And I sit there and I tell them, it's tough to teach, but I would tell you, you got to fucking care, man. You got to care unapologetically, and you got to do it no matter what. And in most sales industries, if you're a manager, you're making more money based on your team's success. So I don't know why it's so damn hard for people to care more than they do, because if you care more, you're going to get better performance anyways. But that's not even the reason I care. I really want people to succeed. And I think we're probably a lot alike in this. And I don't even know if people believe me. I swear to God they don't. But I love watching people open a Christmas present versus me getting fucking presents. I love watching people succeed versus watching myself succeed. That shit feels good to me. And I know that when I care and when I kind of give that outpouring, it is different than most. Probably 9 out of the last 10 managers or whoever the hell they ever worked with probably didn't give a fuck. They may have said they did, but they really, really, really didn't. I can't remember the last time I looked at my paycheck before any of the people on my team. I know if they're winning, I will end up becoming successful. That's going to happen as a byproduct of their success. Period. And I just, again, like you, that I feel like, and I haven't known you very long, but I feel like that's what sets you apart, is you give a fuck. You care about people. You care about that connection more than selling some bullshit to them. They're going to end up buying something from you and connecting to you and being attracted to you, like you've said, if you just be yourself and truly care. And that's what I have always tried to do. It's how I was raised by my mother, is to care about people really, really, truly. So it's hard to teach. But if you can really, truly be yourself and care about people, all the success is going to come. People are going to be attracted to you. All those things that you want to happen are going to happen naturally as a byproduct of that.
And
but
it's not really I don't mean to cut you off, but
No,
it's
go ahead.
not really, the fact that Brandon, he genuinely loves the people that he has the luxury of working with. We always say work with people, you don't work for anyone, right? So, titles don't matter. But this is going to tie into what you said, why pleasing people doesn't work. A lot that I know that you and Brandon are alike on as well. This is one thing that I've had to struggle with in my life, right? I love people so much, and my story is deeply rooted into who I am as a person, that when, I've been given the name the culture creator, which I'm grateful and humbled by, right? It's cool. You can go in any organization, create a great culture. I almost love them so much that there's a happy medium between business and personal life, right? And you said why pleasing people doesn't work. You and Brandon are a lot alike in that case, because the question I have for you, and I kind of wrote it down as Brandon was speaking, why is it important not to sugarcoat shit? Because, Brandon is quick to say, hey, listen, I love you, but I'm not going to sit here and boost your ego up, okay? You're dropping the ball. I'm going to help you get there through love. I'm going to help you get there through intention. I'm going to help you get there and give you the tools you need to succeed, but I'm not going to sit here and build a business for you, right? Like, you have to be dedicated to doing that, and I guess that's my question for you. Why is it important not to sugarcoat it, and get into why pleasing people doesn't work, please?
So sugarcoating is a lie. It doesn't do anything. Here's what my belief. I believe that you can have awesome people of value, but they do stupid things, or they don't do the right things, or they don't put enough pressure. I believe with most pressure, you can accomplish just about anything. My formula is rediscover your identity, for me, based on core values. Get really focused, which will help you discover your purpose here, and apply tremendous pressure. And then everything else becomes blinders and you can win at life. But you got to do it in that sequence. When you want to help somebody achieve, you can't steal or rob from them the accomplishment that they need to complete themselves. Accountability to me is more valuable than praise. Nobody wants empty promises. It's a lie. It's not transparent. When you go, I love you and you're doing a great job, but you didn't hit your targets, little Susie. So, that doesn't help you or them. Hey, you're a valuable person and you're not hitting your targets. One of our core values as a company is progressive and growing profits. And guess what? You're not hitting your targets. We need accountability. So the question is why? And I think there's a few things that drive people typically. And, they either don't have the capacity. Oh man, I have no more time. Then it's a priority issue. They don't possess the skill. They're literally lost, or they don't have the desire. So I start with desire. Do you have the desire to hit it? Yes, I do. Are you sure? Yes, I do. Do you have the capacity? Oh, I need more time. I need more tools. I need more external something. More is an immaturity. I don't have enough of this. I need more. That's immaturity. We have to identify what that is and get to the root of why you need. I don't have enough time because you're probably violating the 80-20 rule, man. And you're working on a bunch of bullshit that doesn't matter all day instead of focusing on the money sheet and driving the revenue because that's what you said you wanted to buy your family a new house. So stop dicking around at Starbucks and stop wasting time at lunch and stop wasting time over here. We need to get to the root of it. And I don't possess the skills. Well, if you have the desire and you freed up your capacity, you can grow into those skills. See, it's not raw talent. It's skill set. We got to develop it. Go practice the training, and skills come from repetition. So we freed up time. I don't know how to get a deal closed. Then you better practice until you do. So I think it's extremely valuable to see the person and not lump them together. I used to make this mistake. Hey, you're amazing at your job. You're the best person I've ever hired. You're phenomenal. 3 years later, they stopped driving sales. Guess what you have to do? You're not getting to your sales targets. But you said I was the best. You said I was the most. When you tell people they're amazing, I think it's a flaw. I think you need to recognize the person and then focus on performance. Johnny, you're doing a great job. Johnny, you are valuable and you're doing a great job. Johnny, you are valuable. You're doing a shitty job right now. Johnny, I see you and I respect you, but you're not hitting your targets. I think in my world, the way that this has really helped me is now I don't have to attack the person. I can attack the problem. Johnny, I value you, but you're doing a shitty job. You broke our core values. You were negative to Susie. Susie's now angry. You didn't hit your sales target and you keep showing up late. I think you're valuable, but you're fucking it up. And I think that is the way for me that I like to create the culture with my team because you don't have to attack the person. We throw the baby out with the bathwater on this a lot. Hey, you were good last year, but today you suck. You didn't hit your targets and now you're garbage. You know what they do? Internalize. Rejection, internalize. Oh, now he said I'm not valuable. Now he said I'm not good. Good luck trying to get that person out the gutter. All you got to do is practice your sales calls. You just told me I'm invalid. You just told me I'm not valuable. You just told me I'm worthless. You want me to practice a bunch of sales calls? You just broke my spirit. What makes you think you're going to get my hands? Yeah. So I love that you would say that. I think it's extremely insightful, but I think you got to maintain somebody's spirit and then they got to work with their hands. But you can't demoralize people to get them to perform. It doesn't work. That's called fucking communism. I came from there. Yeah. You got to be willing to uplift somebody and go, you are valuable, but you're not hitting this mark. The idea of hey, my kid got 6th place, he should get a trophy. I'm sorry, man. I think you're jacking that kid up. Just tell the kid, you got 6th place. There's no trophy. Sorry. You want the trophy, you're going to have to work harder. If it doesn't work in this sport, let's go get another sport. If it's not sports, then it's violin. If it's not violin, there are infinite options in today's society. Pick something you know you're going to win at and do that. I think confidence comes from winning. Real easy. Nobody's going to develop confidence until they start checking some boxes. So I believe that we all have strengths and we have weaknesses, dude, and I focus on the strengths. If you're a great sales guy, let's go focus on that. I want to do operations. You're not a child. You're not doing operations. You're doing sales. So that you can go home and feed your family, put that nice car in the garage, and you can go on nice vacations. So I have this very kind of specific viewpoint on life, but I love what you're saying. Love people, but hold them accountable. They will value you more for it and respect you more for it. Sugarcoating to me is just lying. It's no different. There's no anecdotal thing I can give you. It's a straight lie. You're doing an okay job. Nobody wants to be an okay anything. Sorry. People, we are ambitious and we want to be valued. I do anyways. I don't want you telling me I'm just okay. Yeah. You just made me lukewarm. shit, spit me out. Don't make me lukewarm. I'm either good or I'm not good. I can fix this, or I know I'm winning at this. Living in between, living in that mediocrity, that leads to depression.
Yeah, you don't know who you are. I mean, you don't know what your talent is. I mean, I met with a guy the other day, and he's like, look, we're looking, and he wanted me to help him. He's like, dude, I need to find a particular person to be an executive vice president of sales for a very large company. He said it's going to pay about $1 million a year plus, percentage of business rate. And he's like, what would be your advice? You know what I mean? And he said, because knowing me, he goes, I've been in this business 20 years, but I'm not a sales guy. I'm not a motivator. I do depositions for the company. I deal with attorneys. I understand the product. I understand the process. That's what I'm good at. He says, I stay in my lane. And that's the reason our company thrives, because you designate people to being good or doing the job that they're the best at. And you don't get them in that middle to where, hey, could I be a great sales guy, or am I better at the organizational stuff over here? That guy stood in his lane, and that company is thriving now because they're very, very, very intentional on putting people in the right positions that's going to help their company thrive. I mean, look, that's why not everybody's a CEO, not everybody's a CFO. Everybody I love this, right? You go on Instagram, Facebook, etc., and you say, "Oh, I'm the CEO of thebisky.com." It's like, no, you're not. You're first of all, you're not a CEO, right? You want to put founder, that's fine, because you founded no big deal. But if you don't have the skills or understand what a CEO does or what that person can provide opportunity for other people to actually build a company, you're not the individual that should be putting CEO in front of your name. And it's okay, because to be honest with you, you can learn how to be that. But don't try to be something that you're not. And sugarcoating is a lie. Giving people that you're amazing, it's hard, man. And I'm going to turn over to Brandon in a second. But I talk about my daughter a lot because she's my best friend, right? But when we have a conversation with my daughter and we tell her, it's reminding me a lot about it. If I have a conversation with her, I'm tough on her. And people are like, man, you're tough on your daughter. And I'm like, yeah. Because I know what she's capable of. I need her to see it, right? So I give her love. Hey, babe, you're amazing here. We just need to work on this. But sometimes receiving that information from dad isn't the same. So I have Brandon step in a lot. He's really, really good at saying, hey, you're good at this. And again, that's one of my downfalls that you're much better than me at.
Well, you say it's your downfall. I think it comes from a good place. You believe in people more than they believe in themselves. So that's a positive thing to me. But it is. I love what you said, Ben. We said, listen, people want to win. If it ain't this sport, it's fucking violin. It's something else. It's something else. Cherry pick the shit out of your options, dude. Everyone wants to be good at something. Everyone feels good about what they're good at because they're winning. Like, period. You don't have to force it. Obviously, and we come from such a sales background. We see all the time, dude. You know how many times people try and fucking force themselves to be a salesperson and they're just not any good at it? And they maybe we can grow them into one. But people almost, I feel like they just want to be a part of what, like the market right now, the real estate market in Orlando right now is insane, right? And how many people do we know that have gone from some industry and now all of a sudden they're a fucking real estate agent? They just want to hop in the bandwagon and be a fucking real estate agent, just like it's the easiest thing ever. And sure, they're going to roll into deals that they don't have to be very good, but they're just faking it. And who knows? But people, I want to be able to put people into positions to win because that does make them feel good. I don't want them to force it. I don't want to force it on them. Listen, I don't care what anyone says. Not everyone's good at sales. They're just not. I don't want them to be in that position. Go fucking find something else that you can win at. And I love to watch you win, whether it's with us or Ben or anywhere else. But it's about cherry picking your opportunities. Put yourself in a place where you can win because it feels damn good. I don't care what anyone says.
So question for you, Ben. So, tying into what Brandon just said, I know what I believe on this. I want your honest opinion on this. Salespeople, business owners, look, we've all been in sales our entire lives. I don't care if people say they're not in sales, they are, period. You're selling something. You're selling yourself, you're selling a product, you're selling a service, you're always selling something, right? I truly believe that. I feel like anybody can become what they want to become if they're dedicated to doing that, right? Like, I truly believe that. And you're right. It's not a flaw. I believe that anybody can become...
Well, they need the first thing, just like Ben said, desire. That's the first thing that he checks is you need the desire.
Fact. If they have the desire. What I feel like holds a lot of people back is probably one of the biggest rules of sales in general is just being able to listen, right? How important is it to control ego in growth? And how can it either stunt your growth because there's good and bad ego, or allow it to ascend?
I've done this thing called the predictive index. I do it myself, my whole team. And it helps you understand a person's behavior under times of stress or times of excitement. And I pulled this predictive index on myself a couple of years ago, and I realized some very fundamental things. I'm a high A, meaning I'm highly independent. I'm a high B, meaning I love people, want to hang out with them a lot. I'm an extremely low C, which means I have zero patience. Zero. Like, hurry the fuck up. We got to go. We got shit to do. And I'm a high D, which means I want it done right. So I want to get going on it. I want to do it with people. I want it done fast, but I want it done right. I think when you understand your own behaviors, you said something like anybody can achieve something they want to do. I think for me, the answer is how. How well? How they want to do it. There's so many environments in life. You know, a guy wants to sell cars in the middle of the most, difficult, car lot in the world to sell cars at. You better be freaking good, man. I don't care. Like, you better be top. You want to go sell cars in Idaho where they only sell potatoes and a couple cars? Like, it's relative. I think all these things are relative. Yes, I can agree that you can do it. It's how. Not everybody's going to go to the Olympics, which is why they make other levels of sports. So there's a need. There's a world. As the world evolves, there's so many more avenues for you to get your stuff out. If you're a musician, you no longer have to be sponsored by a major label to get your stuff out. As of a few years ago, you could be famous on YouTube. There's a guy right now who's got like 6 million followers, and he just basically plays in his underwear all day, and he plays piano and he sings. He's not sponsored by a major label. Now they got NFTs. You can write songs and put them on an NFT, and somebody 20 years from now can still give you credit and royalties on this thing. So there's so many avenues and angles. There's never been more than today. So, I think that it's relative. So many things are relative. Should everybody practice sales? Listen, I believe sales is life, but because I'm also naturally inclined to do sales. I love talking to people. I have that affinity. If somebody has no affinity to sales and they're the opposite of me, meaning they can't close because they don't want to, they hate people, right? They're not independent. They really, really need this. Then there's a different way that you can do sales. There's a different way that you can do your life, right? Let me get back to your question. Ask me one more time because I kind of...
Yeah, well, I mean, no, that's okay. It's about ego, right? There's
ego. So let me touch on ego. I think when you're confident in who you are, you don't have to boost your ego. It's easy to flare your ego when you're compensating for something that's not there. For me, that's what I've noticed. So ego and determination are different things. For me, the difference is this. Determination is knowing what I want to do and get the fuck out my way. I'm determined, man. If you get in my way, I'm going to mow you down. That's just what it is. Ego is you don't know what the hell you want to do. You're not determined. You don't have clear goals, but you want to talk about it. Shit, I'm a big time. I'm an ego. I need to prove myself. Dude, hide your insecurity. Focus on your mission. I think of this kind of like warfare. When you have a mission and you have your identity, meaning your weapon, I know who I am. I know what I want. I'm going after it. I have a mission. Don't get in my way, so I'll mow you down. However, I don't need to be in your lane. I don't need to be in your lane. For me, ego is trying to go into lanes you got no business going into. Oh, shit, I'm a sales guy too. Who cares, man? Just go be a sales guy in your own company. Go be a sales guy in the thing you're supposed to do. And don't worry about what somebody else is doing. So this ego for me has never been a positive thing. I know people who go, I need my ego. It helps me win. Okay, fine. That's cool. Whatever. If that's what you want to believe. I don't believe that. I think you can love on people. I think you can squash the freaking pride. And I think you can win big time. I don't think you need to be a dick to be demeaning. I don't think you need to be, prejudicial towards other people in order to win. I don't think you need to oppose somebody else. And to me, that's what ego does. To me, ego is opposing people. The reason I go by humble is simple. To me, humble is it's my own creed. It's my own lifestyle. Every day, love on people, be thankful for what I have, and push like hell. Ask for help, push like hell. Ask for help, push like hell. So I don't know. I think how we define words is so valuable because you might say ego in one definition. This is what happens with people. You go, well, I believe this. Well, I believe this. Your definition is just different than mine. We don't have to contradict. And people are so quick to prove their point and they go, oh, fuck you. My point's right. Yours is wrong. You have a different lens. I have a different lens. I have one word. You have another word. So I believe I'll say this. The words we speak are relative.
So
a word will mean something to me that it might not mean to you.
I agree, man. And I want to ask this question because this one has been weighing on me heavily lately. There's a lot of business owners who have an opinion on people being expendable or not, right? So building a team the way that you have and growing that humble environment and loving on people and forcing them to be successful. There's a certain code you live by. There's core values that you and your company stand for. But are good people expendable? Are they replaceable? And how important is it to keep key people that you know can add massive value to your company, not only happy, but keeping the opportunity thriving for them at all times?
Again, people want to win. I think in seasons of growth, I launched a company. We did 2.5 million sales in the first 12 months. We'll do 4.1 million the second year. And this was a recent startup that I launched. In a growth phase, we have very, very aggressive targets. Beyond that, there's a 64% year over year growth that we have to achieve for the next 4 years. There's an aggressive environment. So it's not the person, it's their ability. Can you thrive in this environment? Or are you missing motivation, capacity, or skill set? I love keeping people on. You know what? When I started companies years ago, I wanted to keep people on forever. And I've gone through a little bit of a mindset shift on this. I don't think you can just have people in your organization forever unless you accommodate their style of growth and existence. For me, if I'm a growth person, I'll just outgrow you. I'll launch a new company. I'll do a new thing. I'll push you over here. That doesn't mean you're not valuable in a stabilized company, or it doesn't mean you're not valuable in my quick launch phase, the first 0 to 6 months. But from 6 to 12, it's massive growth mode. You don't thrive in this environment. You should be here. I think it's important, if you find amazing people, recognize where they're going. But you got to look at your mission, man. I think a mission is valuable. I have people who left and came back a mission later because the mission I was on wasn't for them, right? Everybody's going through life in a different parallel. So somebody's having a child. Now they're going to be in this mindset for the next 6 years. Somebody's aggressively trying to grow as much money as they can in their bank account. So they're in this frame of mind for this year. So it's tough to get the right frame of mind and the skill set and the desire and the capacity. So what I do is simple. I love on people. I have a new opportunity. It requires this level of aggression, and this is my mission. I require this skill set. Sometimes I'll pivot people. Sometimes I'll hire new people. Sometimes we'll just outgrow people, and I'll find better places until we can bring them back in. So I think for me, I live in a mission-driven environment. This is the mission. Because if I bring people along who are going to slow down the mission, it does nobody any good. It doesn't do you any good. Remember, people want to win. If you're a winner and all of a sudden you're losing on my team, I put you in the wrong environment. So I, as a leader, need to be intelligent enough to go, you're not going to win on this team. Oh, yes, I can. I'm not going to sugarcoat you. I'm not going to blow steam up your ass. You're not going to win. You don't have the experience. This is the expectation. But I want to try. If you try and fail, you'll get demoralized. Are you sure you want to try? Okay, I think you can win over here. Go and get the skills. Go practice. Go get going. And I've had people do this, especially in sales. I want to be your number one sales guy for this new launch. Are you sure? You better drive $2 million worth of business. Oh, have you ever driven 2 million? No, I drove 100,000. That's the most I've ever done. Are you sure? Because my expectations will be real high. And I think that's where people go wrong, guys. Expectations. I'm one, you're another. And the problem with that is that's the recipe for disaster. I told you I wanted this and you delivered that. So what I love to do, guys, before I get on a mission is I go, what's the expectation? Who wants to live up to it? Yeah. So I think that there's longevity to some of the, depending what kind of companies you're building. I'm building quick growth companies. So for me, I don't really have long-term stable stuff. We build companies. We accelerate quickly. I'm always in that speed zone, but that's just how I live. Usually if I get to a place where the company gets stabilized, I actually back out because I'm bad for the environment. Sometimes I'm cognizant that I'm the wrong guy in that environment. So I've stepped out of the VP of sales roles because I'm not the right guy. I'm too aggressive.
Do you have like a core, not to interrupt you, do you have like a core like crew of people that you bounce in and out of different opportunities, go growth, go to another growth when that stabilizes? Do you have like a core that roll with you too?
Yeah, so I've got a few different. So I've got a couple core VPs that they kind of roll with me, or they help me set up the next thing that I'm doing. Once it's stabilized, it goes to one core team in my company. So we've got the education company. There's a real estate company. We've launched a new influencer company. We just did that recently. So in the aggression stage, I love it. I love setting the core values. I love setting the intentionality. I love setting the speed. But once it gets to a place where it's coming into a stabilized period, usually for us, it's a 3 to 6 month stabilization. Somebody else with more patience needs to take over that. Somebody who's very, very intense on people development, because I just run out of time.
Sure.
Right? Hey, I want to roll with you, Humble. Listen, the Lambo goes fast, man.
Yeah.
The Lambo goes real quick.
Yeah.
You got to get it. You got to get on the Lambo, or we got to put you in the Honda for a while until you're ready for the Lambo.
So you have the people though. I mean, you've got I think that's the question you're asking.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Like,
no, it's that. Yeah, it does.
It's hard to find good people. It's hard to find real people. It's hard to find people that live by your core values. But when you find those people, my personal humble opinion, you like that? Threw that one in there. My personal humble opinion, right, is that you can't sacrifice loss when you find people that are on your wavelength, no matter what role they're in. It could be that quick growth phase. It could be the stabilization phase after that 6 months is gone in one of your companies. You need people, like you said. I'm the same way. I think Brandon and I are a lot alike in that scenarios, but Brandon helps me kind of. So I'm the guy that says, let's go. You know what I mean? I'm like you. I want to run as fast as I can. I want to get to the end goal, and I'm going to do whatever it takes to get there. Brandon's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. He's like, we need to do it right? That's why we work really well together as partners. But I believe for me, when I found Brandon and I said, hey, this guy's not only family, right? This guy he's everything that I stand for, and he's good at things that I'm not good at, right? I will never, I promise you from my mouth to my Father's ears in heaven, I would never sacrifice losing Brandon. So people to me that are true to themselves, are real people, the type of people I know would be great in any organization, putting them in, like you said, to be honest, in that specific role that they're good at, not just throwing them into a company. I think they're invaluable. I think they're irreplaceable, and I think you have to have those core. Now, listen, can we do it on our own? Yes, because here's what I'll tell you, Ben. I know me, you, Brandon, there's a lot of people out there, type of people that just say, you know what, I'm going to succeed no matter what. I don't need fucking 300 people. I can do it on my own, no questions asked. You're better with people than you are without them, in my personal opinion. When you find those people that can really help you elevate, because you can't do it all on your own or as big as you'd like to do it on your own without having those important people, I think they're irreplaceable when you find the right person.
Yeah, I think it's about the intention. Before Ben, I think it's about, I'm not saying this to boast by any means, but if I was absolute garbage in business, like, aside from the fact that we're family, I don't know if we'd be doing some of the projects that we're doing. You know what I mean? I do bring certain. Right now, I do bring some skill set, but you recognize that, and you also recognize that we work well together. And I think with any kind of strong team, I love that what Ben was kind of talking about. There's intention behind where he places people and who rolls with him. He's identified that yes, they're invaluable, maybe because they're close friends or family or their relationship, but also the invaluability, if that's even a fucking word, comes from the fact that there are skill sets that they hold that can be beneficial and you can be an asset both in business and in that relationship and kind of rise together. So I think it kind of goes hand in hand with his intention.
I'll give you kind of a pro tip on this that works for me. I just made finding people recently my mission. One of my missions is finding people. I have a whole focus dedicated to that. So we created a marketing channel. We're doing all this stuff. We hired a top-notch couple recruiters. We've also got an in-house person fully focused on people development and culture development. So one of my things is find great people. Just like you guys, man, I have no shortage of ideas. I can go raise capital tomorrow. I can launch a new business tomorrow. It's always who? Who's going to be in charge? Who's going to run it? Who's going to do this? Who's going to do that? So these days, my life is simple. We go find great people. They funnel into our world. I get to know them at a highest possible level. Once I feel like they're a good fit, I go, I have an idea, you cultivate it. So I want people to cultivate my ideas. And this is a quick hack that I do. We literally post positions for the most expensive VPs we can find, whether they're 200 or 500 or 600. And I'll get on a 1 hour call with a $500,000 guy. Nobody ever does this, so I do it because it works for me. $500,000 guy. And I go, hey, I have an idea. And I let him basically curate that idea for an hour. Unless somebody who's got 20 years experience in whatever I'm about to do, tell me how I should do it. And if I like what he says, I give him the job.
I love that, dude.
If you don't, you're getting great information either way.
Hell yeah. It's kind of like this podcast. I had to create a fucking podcast just to get around awesome, amazing people and get some free information.
That's a KPI. If you're a business owner and you're not having high-level conversations with career executives, you're missing the ball on so much potential insight. So that's one of my moves, man, is we get on the calls with people on a regular basis. Well, Ben, they're not business owners. Yeah, but they're finance people for the last 20 years for startups, or they're salespeople, leaders, and other organizations that you wish you could be the size of, or the revenue size of, or the team dynamic size of. So I'm a big advocate of creating an intentional pipeline where you have a direct bead to great people all the time. And the moment I find a great person, I go, this is my idea. I'll tell you my secret too. I usually hire them as a consultant for 30, 60 days to flesh the idea out. They flesh it out for me, and if I like it, I fund the deal. They launch with me, and we do the deal. And if I don't like it, then I just got somebody else thinking through all the different things that I would normally have to sit back and think through. So I'm big on launching ideas quick, but I really believe go find experienced people. In the middle of COVID, there's so many amazing people that are sitting in shitty jobs.
Yeah.
You know, their company didn't adapt fast enough. They didn't provide them with enough resources and training. People are sitting at home, which reduces the whole beautiful office value that they would typically get. So I think people are seeing less and less value from their employer these days, which is great for the company. I'm like, hey, our expenses are down. There's no more facilities we have to manage. But we have to look at the adverse consequence too of like what happens when people work from home every day. Yeah. You better be really good at culture building if you expect the guy to sit in a room and make phone calls for 8 hours a day. Like his work, his life, and his family are in the same four walls.
Yeah.
That has different consequences on a person's mind. Yeah. So that's a trick that I do, guys. I try to talk to high level people every week. So hopefully that helps your audience.
100% genius. Help me, I can tell you that.
Yeah, you know, it's funny because Brandon and I constantly take notes during, you know, these interviews. And one thing I will tell you, Ben, is that when you know that you're going to have a guest that is high quality, that is an entrepreneur, that understands the hard, that is a for the people type of guy, but also a no bullshit type of guy, right? You're driven on a level that a lot of people are trying to get to. What piece of advice, you know, kind of winding this down, would you give someone who is trying to become like a Ben Humble, trying to kind of create that lifestyle that you've created? You know, you're so good at marketing. You've got some content out there it's just so valuable for people to listen to. And you said, I'm going to give you my secrets 3 or 4 times and saying you're okay giving information, because I believe that you know that if you give someone your information, they're not you, right? That you're going to get it done at a very high level. They've got to have that dedication. So what piece of advice would you give the listeners or anybody watching right now to catapult them into a high thriving entrepreneurial mindset to help them kind of move forward as quickly as they can?
So number one, decide. You got to decide. If you're not deciding, you're going to get 0. Listen, I decided to do this. I decided to live life at this game. So that decision leads me to other decisions. I'm deciding to win. I'm deciding to play at this level. The second decision, because I decided, was to change my environment. Your physical and mental environment are everything. If you're not in a mastermind, if you're not in a group with people who are playing at a higher level than you, then you're not going to see the angles. You're not going to see the opportunities. So I'm in several masterminds. I'm probably over 300 grand in masterminds just in the last 2 to 3 years, because I know the value of being in a room with people like me and the people that I admire and respect. So I really would push people, get into a mastermind, man. You can't afford not to be in one. And then you better just push. You got to push. You're going to screw it up. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to falter. You're going to do a whole bunch of stuff. You're going to launch companies that go nowhere. You're going to be that sales guy that doesn't get sales for a month. Are you going to be around 10 years from now because you pushed? There's too many random occurrences happening in life. My job is to just get my boats in the water. I got a company over here. I've got some stock and equity plays over here. Another company over here. I've launched a thing over here. And guess what? A lot of different things will make me look like a genius in a couple of years. Just like when people go, man, must have been nice to get into real estate in 2009 and 10 after the bubble. Man, you got lucky. And you know what, guys? I did get lucky. I did get lucky because there's too many random occurrences in life for people to create actual plans. Hindsight is a lie. If only I would have known, I would have done this and that. No, you wouldn't have. You would have bought the stock at $1 and sold it at $2. You wouldn't have written it up to $2,000, right? You wouldn't have been in the thing. You would have got out. You didn't know Corona was going to happen. You didn't know the world was going to do this. You didn't know politicians were going to do that. There's no way for you to, I think it's a false narrative. Your job is simple. Get your boats in the water. Decide to put boats in the water. Get around other people with boats in the water and get your damn boats in the water. And then when the whole market rises, whether it's crypto, stocks, your business, whatever that is, you're going to look like a bloody genius. And it was a combination of timing, circumstance, decision. And that's what I would tell people to do. And if you listen, if any of your audience needs help, I wrote the book, Communism to Capitalism. We're coming out with the audio book soon. If anybody needs a copy, just shoot me a DM on Instagram, Ben Humble CEO, and we'll get you guys one over free of charge. I want to help and inspire people to make that conscious decision, because if they don't, then they end up with the other thing by default. I met somebody who was like 65 years old. They came to me one day and they wanted to buy a property. And he says, I've been working as a janitor for the last 40 years and I've never bought a piece of real estate. And this was a couple years ago. And I sat down with the guy, we had a coffee, and he actually showed up on his bicycle. And I said, at 65, I said, why have you never bought a property? And he said, well, I never had the chance. And I said, well, that can't be true. You've been in Canada your entire life. You've had a job for the last 30, 40 years. You've had plenty of chances. But to him, it was easier to adopt the victim thinking that I never had a chance than to adopt the winner's thinking. Long story short, we gave the guy a property and a mortgage, and he bought a home that's now quadrupled in value in the last 4 years.
Damn, that's amazing.
Dude, that's so cool. I mean, I can't say it enough, man. What you stand for and who you are, dude. It's honestly, I've been so excited to get you on, as I had the luxury of being on your podcast and your show as well. I know that people can find you at cashflowtribe.com. They can find you on Instagram, Facebook. I mean, you're everywhere because you're a marketing genius. That being said, your marketing is based on raw talent, being massively authentic to your audience and helping people like you just did, man. So I can't thank you enough. For you listeners out there, go DM him on his Instagram immediately. It's Ben Humble CEO. I can't thank you enough for giving them that audio version of your book. I know that book is extremely powerful. Brandon and I have both read it. We read both your books. I also want to say this. It's funny when I get a random, and I don't give my home address out to a lot of people, Ben, by the way. So Ben goes to, he's like, yo, Todd, he's like, give me your address, right? I barely know. It's like, yeah. So, and then he said you just randomly do acts of kindness, but I know that you do it. It's so far from promoting. I truly believe this. I believe this. It's so far from promoting yourself. What you stand for and the gifts that you humbly give people come from your heart because you truly care. And that's one thing I love about you most, man. I mean, there's a multitude of things, but I remember talking to my wife and you sent the book. She said, "What is that?" I said, "Well, it's from Ben. I was on his podcast." She goes, You gave him our address? I said, yeah, I did. Because there's certain people that you can know instantly that are good people that you can trust with a great heart, man. So all I can say is keep doing what you're doing. Again, you guys can find him at cashflowtribe.com. This guy's doing amazing things. Follow him on every social media platform, please, as quickly as possible. Go to YouTube, subscribe to his channel. You will not be sorry. We're trying to be a quarter of what you are in the podcast and information world, but I tell you this, brother, honored to even have you here.
Dude, I'm a better business person. I have a better mindset. I'm a better person for listening to you and talking to you in this hour conversation. So can't thank you enough, brother. Appreciate you.
Yeah, let me just say this. I really love that you guys are putting this out in the world. There's a lot of people with messages and content, but the value that you guys are putting out far exceeds just the content piece. Where your heart and your mind is at, I just think it's phenomenal. So I want to thank you guys on behalf of myself and the listeners. Just really good. Just keep keep going, man. Keep kicking ass on this podcast. It's amazing.
100%, man.
Brother.
Thank you, man.
Keep driving, dude. So I will talk to you sooner than later, brother. We're definitely going to get up and not only do business but help people together shortly. I'm very sure of it.
We need to buy some real estate in Canada.
We definitely.
He's probably the guy that can help us.
We know a guy.
I need to put some boats in the water, bro. Right the fuck now.
What I'm not going to tell Ben is I didn't have the time or I didn't have the opportunity because he's going to tell me to go fuck myself. Yeah. So that's a good thing. But brother, we love you, man. Thanks so much. Please give your beautiful family hugs and lots of love from us, man. And we continue to love watching you win, man. So we'll talk very.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate you.
See you guys.
Be good, brother.
Fire from Ben. Be humble. The dude is amazing.
It's. I'm going to say it again. It's like when I cannot stop taking notes, dude.
Yeah.
Listen, it's almost
All
right.
this.
We're going to have to get more paper next time because, I mean, it's insane. And if you didn't get crazy knowledge from Ben, I don't know what else we can do for your gut check. I think you should subscribe to a different channel because this channel is real information that's going to change your life in extraordinary ways, man. I mean, look, he talks about it, right? He said the three things that matter most, right, is motivation, capacity, and skill set, right? He talked about things that I think we overlook. He talks about not really just giving you the pat on the back and telling you, oh, you're amazing and you're a valuable asset to the company. If you're not, he tells you you're not, and he tells you, bust your ass, prove to me that you are, and I'll guarantee that you win. But I'm not going to sit here and pat you on the back and tell you you're something that you're not.
Yeah, he said accountability is more valuable than praise. So, that balance between giving people praise, making them sure that that you care, but he says accountability is more valuable. He knows that they are going to be more successful not by you saying, "Oh, you're amazing, congratulations." It's about letting them know real quick, yes, you're great, but you didn't hit this. Yes, you're great, but we need to do this. So it's that key balance, and then that number one tip towards the end that I just want to make sure we take away is those 3 steps was decide, change, and push. So you got to make a decision to do the thing that you want to do. You have to have it with conviction. You got to change your environment. So, physical and mental, like masterminds, surrounding with yourself with people that are doing better at this or that, or just the types of people that you want to help create your success. And then you got to push. You got to just do that shit. You're going to mess up. You're going to fuck up. You're going to fall on your face, but you got to just push. So that tip at the end was straight fire to me.
Yeah, I mean, look, he gave so many of them. He also said timing, circumstance, and decision, right? Everything came down to decision, though, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what was one of the things that he just kept saying. You have to make a decision. He's like, listen, if you have to decide to be broke, you have to decide to be successful, you have to decide to be the person that you want to be. No one's going to make that decision other than you. I mean, he talks about old reality versus new reality. He talked about that kind of battle he had in his mind, right? Where the new reality is the goal, right? He was trying to accomplish massive things, but old reality kept getting in the way, and he was like, man, I was arguing with myself in my mind, and my old reality was trying to hold me back. So it's not just the argument that holds you in mediocrity in your own mind, but it's also about the people you surround yourself with, right? He's talking about personally in love and life and family and in business, etc. One of the biggest things and tools that I get out of this is that you, the listeners, people watching, everybody that gets the luxury of spending time with these unreal guests, well, and us, of course, because we're kind of
100% us, yeah.
Is getting valuable information that you can decide to use or not. It's a decision what you do with this information. It's a decision to turn off this podcast, right? Listening to 11 minutes and then saying, I'll listen to it later. You either decide to do it and spend time listening and making your life better, or you don't. It's that simple.
It's like that, it's like the Grant Cardone thing, massive action. I don't think, not to devalue anyone or us or anyone else, but it's not all, we know people that own businesses and run businesses that are successful, that they're not the smartest fucking person in the world. They're just not. They didn't have the most resources. They're not the smartest. They're not the best people. But they just took action. And that's one thing that kind of is this commonality amongst a lot of the people that we're talking to that I'm recognizing is they took action. So between mindset and taking action, and that's why I'm glad he has he makes such a big emphasis on that first step of decide, because you can decide to not take action. You could decide to be wherever you are right now. You've essentially decided to be there. It's not just by happenstance, and to move move and to change your environment, like he says, and to push, the first thing you have to do is decide to do that thing and fucking do it, which is the push part. So I don't know. That's just a lot of people want that get rich quick, and a lot of people want that, that secret potion thing, but not a lot of people want to do the work to get there, and it's just making the decision and taking action. So I just see that as such a massive commonality.
How about when he said that, and this one hit home hard, right? Because we all have grown up in different environments, right? You have money, you don't have money, whatever. We all have our own story. We're going to say that a million times, I'm sure. But one of the biggest things and one of the massive takeaways I took from this is he said, telling me that you don't have the money, it's immaturity, right? Don't tell me you don't have the money, that's immature, right? Don't tell me you don't have the time, that's immature, right? The excuses that you are implementing and putting into your life, you're tearing your soul apart. You're guaranteeing to set yourself up for failure, and you're not allowing yourself to win because you're talking yourself out of it before you even do it. He said that showing off is overrated. Showing up is the key.
God damn it! That's fucking good, dude.
Listen, I wish he was in front of me because, Ben, we would have hugged the shit out of you after this podcast. Do you agree?
100%, bro. I've got a list of them here. I want to go over all of them, but
one of the last ones I do want to say this, and you can close out, okay? He says, when you become you reclaim who you are, they will find you. You won't be chasing them. And that was
the attraction
thing,
right?
The attraction, right?
Yeah.
It's like people are going to come to you when they know you're the type of person they want to be around, right? He said, if you have a business card, bro, you're full of shit, right?
Yeah.
He said, if you need a business card to remember who I am, I'm not doing my job. I'm not being that important in your life for you. And you don't need a piece of paper, what he said, right? You don't need a piece of paper with my name on it to remember who I am, man. We're in the days of digital social media. Come find me. If you want me and I can provide value, you're going to find me.
Dude, that was straight fire. I loved that part. I like when he was talking about kind of, getting a mission and following it. So from when it comes to, I'm always looking at advice, selfishly, of course, for, business and management and kind of some more tactical and real tangible advice. And one thing that I loved is, he says to get a mission and surround yourself with people that are of that same mission and mindset. And everyone's not going to be a good fit. You want to put people in positions to win, and they're not always going to be right for what you're doing at that time, but he finds places to put people in positions where he knows that they're going to win, kind of based on that predictive index thing he was talking about with learning about what people are really, really good at. It's not a one size fits all. I mean, not everyone can sell shit. Not everyone can do real estate or podcasts or whatever. It doesn't matter. Everyone's good at something, though, and put them in the position to win, and they'll thrive because everyone loves to win. Everyone does.
Well,
so
I got to tell you, man, he also said, that you have to win to guarantee that you're going to know you can do more, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that was a big thing, And you also he said you make a choice to be influenced, right? You're either going to make a choice, I'm sure you guys have heard the saying, you hang out with 5 fucking assholes, you're going to be the 6th, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's funny when a guy at his level spends a ton of time putting himself not only involved, but in front of very powerful people because he wants to level up.
Yeah.
Right? Because there's a lot of you out there listening right now that are hanging out with fucktards. You guys are hanging out with assholes. You're hanging out with people that, I know I can be successful and I know what can be done. Let's be honest, right?
Yeah.
You put yourselves in environments where people have more excuses than they do have influence and dedication on really becoming something more, which means you're always going to sit in that medium, that stagnancy he was talking about mediocrity. You guys need to make the choice today. You need to make the choice right now. After listening to this episode, after listening to a guy like Ben who has gone through a ton of shit, okay? Not more or less than you and I, but a lot of the hard through his life, and he's decided to be massively intentional in guaranteeing success. He said multiple times, I have a mission, you're either with me and you're going to go with me or I'm going to mull you over.
yeah, his level of conviction is insane. I got probably the most important question I can ask so far in this entire podcast. Did anyone else hear when I spilled my drink all over the table? I swear to God, I thought that I was going to fry everything.
Because what they don't know is you hit it with your forehead. And he was leaning back.
Damn it. I swear, the
walked right
fucking
into
forehead
that
thing.
one.
Yeah,
I don't know what it is.
I'll give that one to you, though. That was
Thank you. I'm
very
gonna drop
timely.
The pen
I already ordered the tape measure on Amazon though, so we can fucking measure next to each other.
All right. Well,
But-
anyways, guys, thank you for listening. Once again, please subscribe. Dude, do us a favor and share this out there, because I know whether you think you're a leader or not, you're a leader, man. Give people the power of knowledge and information right now. Get them to subscribe to our channel and and get people involved in becoming more. Be intentional on helping others, because when you do, you're going to be better yourself.
Time to grow, baby. Let's roll.
Rock and roll. See you guys.
If you love this guest as much as we did, please follow them on all their social media platforms. The way to support us is to like and comment on all your favorite episodes. And please don't forget to subscribe and turn on your notification for the next Gut Check Uncut.